Welcome to this week's Rogers McHugh YouTube video. In this week's episode, I'm going to tell you why cold calling is dead. Let's go. Welcome to this week's Rogers McHugh YouTube video. So in this week's episode, I'm going to explain to you why I think cold calling is dead. So this basically comes from a couple of conversations that I've had recently with potential recruiters and people that we've interviewed, where they believe that recruitment is a lot like a call centre type volume job, where it's high volume, hitting the phones, making 100 or 200 outbound calls a day, and recruitment is no longer that type of industry where you can sit there all day ringing up different decision makers. Hi, do you need any staff? Hi, do you need any staff? The answer to that question every single time that you make that call is going to be no. So I do, however, a bit of a spoiler, believe that there is still a market, there's still a requirement to pick up the phone, speak to clients and try and secure business on the phone. So I'm not saying that all phone work is now dead. However, I do believe that cold calling is dead. And what I mean by that is you've got to try and make sure that you are turning it from a cold call into a warm call. So every time you're picking up the phone, it's got to be a warm call. And the question is, how do you turn a cold call into a warm call? Well, the first way is building a personal brand. Are you known in your sector for what you do? If you're speaking to a potential client, do they know who John Lugston from Rogers McHugh is? Are you putting content out there on LinkedIn? Are you connecting with all the decision makers and the candidates within your sector? And are you starting to build a personal brand? I'm not suggesting that you need to be the next Richard Branson and everybody in the world needs to know you. However, you need to be known to a few. You need to be known to the people in your sector. When you pick up the phone, people need to know who you are. It's then not a cold call. They know who you are, they know what you do, they know why you're calling. So that's the first one. If you aren't investing time in building a personal brand on LinkedIn and in your market, absolutely that's what you've got to start doing, and the time to start that is yesterday. Yesterday's gone, you need to be doing it today. The second way that you can turn a cold call into a warm call, is there a reason for the call? So you're not just ringing up to see if they need staff. Are you ringing up for a reference call, a reference from the contact that you're speaking to? Have you got some intel about the market that may assist you? So has that company just been given a big investment? Have they just secured a big project? Is there some market intel that you can use that makes that a reason for the call? So it's not just out the blue, it's not just a cold call, you're following up on some market intel. Have you been told by somebody that they may be hiring? And have you got a lead from somebody that they may be hiring? What's the reason for the call? If the sole reason for that call is just to introduce yourself and just to ring up and say, do you need any staff? Again, the answer is going to be no. It's got to be warmed up. What's the reason for the call? The third way that you can warm a cold call up is, have you formed relationships? So have you started to build relationships with potential clients? So this is where we take the cold call into a warm call. This is where we take the phone work that we're doing from phone work into the real world. So have you visited the client in the past? I went to see a new client last week who was very much of the opinion, as am I, that all relationships are formed face to face. It's great to speak to you on the phone. The fact that you've made the effort to come and see me is a great sort of tick in your box. We want to work with people that we can build relationships with. And the net result of that is the visit was on Tuesday. We had an offer for a candidate by the Friday of the same week, because the team in the background were speaking to candidates within that market. They were building up a pipeline of potential candidates. And obviously we'd made the effort to go and see them and start building that relationship. That can't be the end. We've got to now regularly be in touch, regularly go and see them, drop in and make sure that the service is okay, But have you started to form relationships so that when you're ringing up potential clients, you've visited them, you've spoken to them multiple times, you've built that relationship, you've spoken to them about things that aren't necessarily work related. You know what football team they support, you know what rugby team they support, you know what the family is like in terms of have they got a wife or a husband or a partner, have they got kids, and you're starting to form a bit of a picture about what they do outside of work, and you're building that relationship, and you're having conversations that aren't just, hi, do you need some staff? The next one is, do you offer something different? Are you just another run-of-the-mill recruiter, or do you offer something different? So what do I mean by something different? It could be something as simple as, I can get you candidates no other agency can, because I've been networking in this market for 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it might be, and I'm the go-to guy for candidates. It might be that you provide salary benchmarking for potential clients, and you give them an idea, or you put together a report for potential clients in terms of salary benchmarking, so that they know what the competitors are paying. It could be that you, and this is going to be a little bit of a contrary one, could be that you meet all your candidates face to face, depending on obviously your location, your geographical area. But do you offer something different? Can you sell a USP to your potential client, which turns it from a cold call to a warm call? And the last one, are you following up? So you've had the initial call, you've turned it from a cold call into a warm call by using one of these, but then are you following up? If they ask you to ring them back, are you doing so? Are you starting to form those relationships? And I'll be honest, that is the most important one and the most infuriating one as a business owner, when your consultants have put a great call into a client or a potential client. They maybe get some intel about a job, or they get asked to call back, and they don't follow up, because they're the easier ones to convert. They're the ones where you're going to get the conversion if you keep following up, and because then from the follow-up, you're then starting to build that relationship. The second or third call, you may get that visit to start understanding the potential client better, to build that relationship. And let's be clear, if they've asked you to call back, there's a reason for the call. So why wouldn't they give you the time of day? So make sure, and that is the key one in how to turn a cold call into a warm call, that you're following up. If somebody's asked you to call them back at a certain time or on a certain day, that is absolutely prioritised in your diary, irrelevant of what else you've got going on. So that's this week's video. I hope you liked it. That is my take on why I believe that cold calling is dead. And like I say, that isn't me saying that the phone work is completely redundant now in recruitment. Absolutely not. It's still a very key component in the world of recruitment. However, you've got to be working on turning those cold calls into warm calls in order to get the results you're looking for. So I'd be interested to know your thoughts. What are your thoughts on cold calling? What do you think is more important in the recruitment world at the minute? Do you think it is building a personal brand? Do you think that there's still a lot of mileage in the phone work? Put it in the comments below. And most importantly, subscribe to the channel. We're bringing out content every week. We're trying to get the subscriber numbers up because we want to get people on the podcast. We want to get some interviews scheduled. And we can only do that if we're getting more views and we've got more subscribers. So subscribe to the channel. There'll be another video at the same time next week, and I look forward to seeing you then.